What the business is, YouTube? Man, I got some craziness going on here right about now. What the business is, YouTube? This your boy Clarence over here at Pursuit of Freedom. I wanted to come in here and do a slightly different video. This is something that I usually do behind the scenes. To just to check myself, to grade myself, to analyze myself, to develop myself as a trader, to get better as a trader. Uh, I'm not a part of any chat rooms. I'm not a part of any of the various different platforms and courseworks and all of that stuff where you may have a mentor reach into your life and grade your activity for you, which is, I think, a very beneficial thing because somebody who's a pro telling you what to do, what not to do can help. But there are ways you can analyze yourself. Um, Oftentimes, when it comes to this here market, man, emotions are huge. Emotions are huge. And I want to come back over here and do something else right quick while I'm speaking on that. So you in a trade, you absolutely know when you're doing something that's not right. So in this here video, I want to talk about losses. I want to talk about losses. And the biggest loss I've taken in the 4 years I've been trading since February 2017, I might need to hit 2021. Hold on, 20, pretty much all of 2017, 18, 19, and all of 2020. And I take breaks. Like after March and April, I didn't want to do any more damage, so I stepped back and I was like, you know what? I'm finna observe this market, see what it is I can learn. Being that I'm in a truck, I didn't paper trade, but if I would have been able to be in front of the market every day, I would have paper traded and just went right back into practice and would have just practiced and not put hard-earned money at risk. But I drive all day, every day, so that ain't really an opportunity for me. I want to get over the PDT rule quick as fast as I can get there because it's already been 4 years, man. And I do feel like if I'm over the PDT rule, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. But this is something that I usually do. It usually don't make YouTube. But let's talk about losses for a quick second, man. This APVO trade, right now, E-Trade got it at 38.43. But the actual loss that I want to talk about is bigger than that. The actual loss, I already did the math on it, was this 29, 23, 46, and that 13, 69, 69. So the total loss that I'm talking about really was 42.93 and 15 cents. Let's just call that $4,300, right? But being that I had just got in the stock, this was a short. E-Trade, they post over here, buy the cover. That's how you close the position. So whatever you do to close the position, that's what they're going to post over here. So I sold to close the position, this first one on the 4th, 600 shares at $13, and got out at $13.89 for $4.50. So they minus that from the $4,300, and they totaled that out to a loss of $38.43. But the actual loss was closer to this number up here, $4,300. But then I wanted some revenge because APVO trade, I already got a video up on that, so I'm not going to talk a ton about that. I got a video on that already. But E-Trade covered me on the 10th. They covered 131 shares on the 10th. That was the weird thing to me. It was roughly about $3,000. That's what E-Trade told me I needed to add in the margin call. The guys that called me, they said I need to add $3,000 to the account, or on the by the close of business on the 10th, they was going to close my position. But the position was down so much, man, that I was paralyzed to take this loss. I did not want to take this loss. I'm going to tell you how stupid that was in a little bit. So they closed 131 shares before the close. And I get to a point that day when I'm driving, I need to pull over to the side of the road to take a leak. And I see that I only got 69 shares in this position because I'm going to peek at it. I'm going to jump on the computer for a quick second to see what it is. It could just be 5 minutes and then exit the trade. But I've seen that I only had 69 shares left. I had already suffered this here loss, so I said, fuck it, I'm gonna just close the rest of that position. And because I closed at 43.99, basically 44 $44, and they closed 131 shares at 46. But then I wanted some revenge, man, and I jumped into another trade, which I didn't do a video on this trade, in all honesty, because I was so frustrated with this damn loss, especially becoming behind a loss. I didn't want to put together a streak of losing. So that's $4,500 I'm gonna call that, and this was on the 12th. I'll go back and talk on that right now, being that I didn't do a video on this Ica trade. So this is the 12th here. I got it circled that way when I zoom backwards in time, the 12th of November. That makes it easy for me to get in here and find a time frame where I might be able to get all the way back to that time. Let me see. All right, so 5 minutes ain't gonna work, maybe 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes is in, right? So on the 12th, and you can see, man, let's look at this daily. This is the only time I'm interested in the stock. I need the stock to give me a big spike, give me a range from $2 to $2.90. Looking in that box, 40% different, but the gap up was way down here, but at least from where it opened at to the higher day, you know what I'm saying? 295, 30 something percent, 73 cents. I need a lot of spike action. I need some, when it's going sideways like this, there ain't much for me to do. Ain't much for me to gain. But when it's doing this, it's gonna land in my top percentage gainers, and it's gonna be in front of me to look at. So the stock had a spike big that morning, gapped up and was pushing higher. I'm sure that I didn't enter my position before it reached the higher day, because I would not have stayed in this darn thing. I'm in at 253, out at 227. So yeah, 227 is right there. I'll bring that down. So that's why I sold. So I don't have where I got in at. Like, well, I won't. Yeah, so like 253, 255. You know, it's right around. Why does this thing want to edit? Okay, but it's right around the VWAP. So I'm pretty much looking for a bounce off the VWAP, and I'm thinking that the stock might return to the higher day. That is not the case. Stock ended up punching beneath the VWAP, going sideways. It tried to get above the VWAP, tried to get above the VWAP, and it had a big drop all the way down, blasted through the short-term moving averages. It's beneath the volume-weighted average price, and that terrifies me. Goes beneath my short-term moving average, the 9 and the 13, and I'm out at the close of business on that candle at 227. So I find another stock a few days later, and it's spiking big, and I want to get in and get out and try to get into some money. Trying to get some of that money back from that loss. And I ended up with another loss. And this was another painful loss. My max pain is about around $100. So when this thing falls, sometimes, man, like, you don't have no control when you're going long on how quick a stock will sell. So this thing dropped 10% in 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And I got out with that loss. There's a saying that the bulls take the stairs and the bears jump out the window. So when the selling action starts, man, these things drop and can drop quickly, man. But I get out. I don't obey a stock because this was really up at like 247. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere at the bottom of these candles. I think that's where I reset my original stop at. I didn't obey it, and it got much, much worse. And I ended up getting out with a bigger loss than I wanted. But I can still look back and say, okay, I didn't honor my stop, but I got out of the trade. I didn't hold it any longer than that. You know what I'm saying? It still was a bad trade, but I got out of the trade. And it wasn't like APVO, where in APVO, I kind of set myself up. I trapped myself in that one. And APVO, this thing had gapped way up, better than 100%. So at the open Monday, I'm already up shit's creek. And the stupidest thing to do was been to hold, because I should have. I don't remember what I was doing at the day. More than likely, I was driving the truck, being that that's what I do for a living. But before this thing closed Monday, this is hindsight. Hindsight is 2020, because I can tell you what I actually was thinking. When I seen it selling off all day, I thought that Tuesday it would open at $32, which what it did, and I thought it would continue to sell. And I thought we were just gonna have a march back down. You know what I'm saying? But it opened up at $32 and it pushed all the way up to goddamn $50. So that, man, I still feel the frustration, man, from the way that this thing just climbed right back up. Had decent volume on that day, 130 something million, 196 million, almost $200 million dumped into the stock that day. So it climbed. But look at the volume since then, man. This stock is garbage. But there's another saying somewhere where like a stock can be irrational longer than you can be solvent, kind of meaning that a stock could remain irrational. Look at the volume. 37,000 shares on this here volume. Now the rest of the stocks, I mean, you're gonna have some stocks like this one here with 12,000 shares. What the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? This is I would not trade a stock that's only trading 12,000 shares a day. I wouldn't have bought the stock or sold the stock if it was only selling 37,000 shares a day. And finally, it looks like it's going to go ahead on and crash. It's beneath the short-term moving averages, and it is downtrending. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I wanted revenge, and I wanted revenge from this stock. But, hey, what I look for is the hottest stocks of the day. During the time when I was playing it, it was hot. I chose the wrong side. Stock ended up gapping higher. I held my position. And if E-Trade wouldn't have closed my position, I probably would have kept holding it, which would have been so stupid. Because look at the stock now. Even with only 37,000 shares, you can see that it ain't got no volume. The volume is completely dead now in this here stock. And it's still floating up here, man, at $40 a share. So my money would have been hostage. Even if E-Trade didn't give me the margin call, I could have still been trading because I had more money in the account. But my money would have been hostage for over a month now. So, you know what I'm saying? The best thing for me to do would have been the next 2 days, get out at the lowest possible point. You know what I'm saying? So $32, $31, it'd have been a 40% loss, but it still would have been better than the pretty much 100% loss that I suffered. Yeah, so they've been close to 40%, $8 from where it closed that Friday when I got into that Monday. Because I really thought this was going to be a good trade. The stock had already ran up to the tune of, you know what I'm telling you, that 100 and some percent. It gapped from way down here and ran 360%. So I thought the stock was a little extended and it was done, but hell, it wasn't done. Ended up punching up damn near 1,000%, 852% in 7 days, looking in that box. You know what I'm saying? Before it finally came back to reality somewhat, and it still ain't, it's barely trying to get back to reality, but it can remain irrational well after you have completely run out of money. So the best thing for me to do would have been to sell that. I'm already 14 minutes in. You know what I'm saying? So let me get to some other speed, right? So cut losses. Tim Sykes says cut losses quickly. Sometimes it's hard to do, like in the APVO trade where the stock gaps up out of nowhere. And I don't do too much of nothing with it. After hours, I treat it like a 9 to 5. So at 4 o'clock, I'm not watching the market. But, so this was the 12th, right? I'm going to go 11/13 till today. So since that time, I went 6 straight green trades and got every bit of that back. Got every bit of that back. And I'm telling you, it's some dumb mistakes in those losses. It's some dumb mistakes in this APVO trade. I could have got out here at $32 2 days back to back. Monday or Tuesday, I could have sold around $32, $31 and suffered a 40% loss. I suffered a 100% loss. Go right back to the plate with your bat. And if you got the bunt or swing for a double, triple, or a home run, but just go back one trade at a time, man, and get it all back. You know what I'm saying? So since them first days of November through the day, suffering that monstrous loss in APVO, you can get it all back. So, you know what I'm saying? The short term, back over that thing, just $152 up to this here point, right? Now, what I usually do is I analyze, for the last 3 months, for quite some time, I go back and I look. And where I can improve, at least looking at November and December so far, being that I'm focusing in on my biggest loss ever, is I can shrink these losses. This is unaffordable when you got the stack base hits of $200. I got some trades this year that were like $13, $10, even though I consider those a scratch because that's not a real gain. That's just getting out before it turns into a massive loss, right? Before it turns into a loss, break even, right? But I got green trades down here, $80, $100, $75. You can't take a big ass loss like that when you're putting together bricks of $200 and something. Originally thinking about this thing when I was like, man, I got to climb out this hole. So if I made like $250 a week, being that I'm averaging only one trade a week for the last 5 months, one trade a week, because sometimes I don't make any trades in a week, being that I drive full time. So when I do get a chance and I look at the market, if I don't see nothing I like, I don't trade. And that happens. You know what I'm saying? That happens. Sometimes I'm at the stock market and it's 12 o'clock, the middle of the day. And most of the time that's wish-washy. Market makers are screwing you over during the middle of the day. So I don't do nothing. I see something that might be looking like the volume will be low and weak. So I decide not to pull the trigger on that. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I get in front of the market and I won't trade. There are a few weeks when I get all three of my day trades in, being that I'm under the PDT rule. One thing that I always make sure, or that I would never do to add eliminating risk, is I'll never borrow, except for borrowing to short. And that's about the only borrowing I would want to do. But I have decent buying power in this account, and it'll never be used. It will never be used. I won't trade options. Options use leverage. I don't want to borrow. You're already in capital management. You're already trading stocks, and it's risky. So I don't want to add risk in the form of debt to give yourself a bigger hole to climb out of when you suffer a loss. Because I could have put some steroids on this here loss and added some buying power, and this loss would have been even bigger. So I would not use leverage at all. So I won't trade options. I'm not trading Forex. I'm using my hard-earned capital. I just got to do a better job of protecting it, looking at these losses. And like I said earlier, this is something I usually do to myself. I don't post a video on it, but I wanted to get in here and talk about losses, man, because they happen. They're going to happen. But you can climb out of the holes of any loss, any mistake. There are some losses that will probably be too big if you're going to put all of your coins in one basket, which is something I would never do. I would never put all my coins in one basket. I have 4 different accounts, you know what I'm saying, and a Coinbase account for Bitcoin. So all of my eggs will never be in one basket. You know what I'm saying? I can get that right out of my mama. You know what I'm saying? Your mama teach you good. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know what I'm saying? But I could have suffered less of a loss. And like the way that I'm looking at it now is like, man, if I wanted to suffer that loss, right, or them losses last month, if I'd have cut losses at some point, you know what I'm saying? This has been a good month. This has been a good month. But when I add November's losses back, you see that I'm only up $152. You know what I'm saying? So if I'd have cut them losses quickly, you know what I mean, I could be building a good month. It's still got some more time in this here month. There may be some losses get involved here, but I mean, it's a part of the game. It's a part of trading stocks. You know what I'm saying? And what I take from this, I didn't pull up the Excel sheet. That's something that I like to do strictly for myself, to grade myself. Of course, my 2 worst months this year are the 2 worst months of the year for the overall market. And that was March and April, being that I'm long biased. And 3 months, May, June, and July, didn't even make a trade. I wish I could have paper traded for those 3 months, but I'm working all day. You know what I'm saying? But I did want to get in here and do a video and talk about losses, man, and getting out of a position because you can recover. Long as you ain't throw your whole account, your whole life savings at any one stock, at any one trade, that's an absolute no-go for me. I'm a momentum trader, and one thing is I always need is confirmation, so I'm hesitant. I give up gains both on my entry and on my exit in the majority of my trades because I'm not looking for the perfect entry or the perfect exit. And I want the stock I want confirmation that the stock is doing what I want it to do. Sometimes you're going to be wrong, but don't let being wrong cost you so much money. And that's what I got to hone in on. That's what I got to work on. That's what I got to get better at. Not allowing being wrong, meaning that you had a theory behind why you wanted to get into a stock. And if that theory is wrong, you want to limit the damage being wrong can cost you. You know what I'm saying? Don't let being wrong cost you money. In other words, Tim Sykes say cut losses quickly. It's rule number 1, and that fella there is absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? Cut losses quickly, but if you do suffer a big loss, live to trade another day. You can get it back. It's going to take time. Time is the biggest thing, though. See, because basically I lost a month. You know what I'm saying? Go back to that. So basically I lost a whole month trading wise. You know what I'm saying? I lost a whole month with this one freaking trade. The time I can't never get back. The money I can, though. The money I have gotten back. But the time I can't get back. And I could have been building on top without this here one loss. But it is what it is. It happens. That's a part of trading. That's a part of getting better. Oh, yeah, man. And analyze yourself, man. Go back and make sure you grading, you checking yourself. Because like I said, I'm not a part of any of the trading communities out there. I'm not real big on social media, period. I got a Twitter and a YouTube. I do have an Instagram that I ain't logged into in about 4 or 5 months. Ain't got no Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to learn how to do this thing. Because me, I see chat rooms as a crutch. Yeah, you know, you probably can be in somebody's chat room, and if they alert a stock, you can ride their picks. But I see that as a crutch. Me, I always want to walk on my own 2 feet. You feeling me? I ain't never been a person that I want to lean on somebody. See, because when you're leaning on somebody else's picks, it's something that they do. It's something that they have learned over time that you're bypassing by riding somebody else's picks in the chat room. You know what I'm saying? Heck yeah, you can make some money, but without them, can you make money? Without them, I absolutely can make money because I ain't a part of no chat room. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing this out here. I set myself up through the best way possible to put good charts, to put hot stocks in front of myself every day. And I've looked, find the best entry, get in and get out as best as I can, grade myself, and keep moving forward. Post these videos. You can see what to do and what not to do. Hey, give me the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. There's more coming. This is Pursuit of Freedom.